Howard, this sounds pretty crafty. What's being done to stop the fishers, or the fishermen, or if you want to call them that?
Well, there's basically 4 categories of things that are being done. One, first and foremost, is new technology. We're starting to see different companies, whether they're e-commerce companies, operating systems operators, even small companies developing new technology to help fight phishing. The second thing is the institutional perspective, where companies are working better together. Security groups from one company calling another one, say, by the way, we see something that affects your company, and that sharing of information, which is somewhat natural. The other thing is the education awareness, and this is really a big part, because we can make really, really safe cars, but if you drive them too fast, you don't put brake fluid in, you're going to have a problem. So educating people what to watch out for is the third piece of that. The fourth one, and clearly, is the law enforcement piece. If the first 3 are not 100% successful, which we never really expect them to be, law enforcement has new tools and new mechanisms by which to investigate these things and hold these criminals accountable.
Howard, I have another question for you. What about the software itself?
In a lot of cases, for example, the browsers, the interface that we have between us and the online world, a couple things take place on that. One, first and foremost, you need to keep that updated. It's vitally important to do so. And we talk about this all the time. You need to make sure you're using antivirus software. If you have a high-speed connection, such as cable modem or DSL system, to have a personal firewall that you use. There's now suites of software out there that include antivirus, spyware, spamware, personal firewalls, all built into a single package, which are very, very easy to use. We're also seeing now the proliferation of new gateway devices. For example, when you use a cable modem or DSL modem, those are now coming built in with wireless connections and software in the device, so even less for you to manage.
Now, URLs, for example, we have to look at the URL and not just click back on it because it may not be where we really want to go. How many of the institutions or people we deal with have the S on the end of the HTTP, which indicates a secure website?
That's correct. It basically is an encryption or a scrambled connection between your desktop and theirs. Anytime you're doing some sort of a transaction that involves either credit cards or money, look for the presence of that HTTPS and make sure that you've typed in the URL itself, the Universal Resource Locator. Don't take one where you get one in the email that says click here to update your information. It may have an S. It will not be a legitimate S. So type it in yourself, www.mybank.com, whatever the name of it is, so you know that you're legitimately there. And look for that S, and also look for a little lock mark on the lower right-hand corner of your screen. Normally is where they're currently placed, and it shows that it's an encrypted session.
Okay. Nessa, crime is crime, whether it's online or offline, right?
If a consumer thinks that they may have provided information to a phisher, they're, depending on the information provided, will determine what steps they should take. If they provided account information, credit card information, debit card information, they should immediately contact the financial institution. They may have to close the account down, get a new credit card, etc. But consumers should be looking for transactions they didn't make. And if they find that there are transactions that they didn't make, they should immediately contact their financial institution. And in most cases, these are resolved fairly quickly. But the more quickly they notify the institution, the more quickly and more easily it is that the issue will be resolved. Now, in cases where in a phishing incident where you're not providing account information, but personal information, such as your address, social security number, date of birth, mother's maiden name, all that information that could be used to open an account in your name, you may want to take a different step. It might be a good idea to put an alert on your credit report so that a creditor reviewing an application will make sure that they'll take extra steps to ensure that the person who's applying for a loan in your name is in fact you. So in addition, if you've provided that information, personal information, you might want to periodically review your credit report to ensure that accounts were not opened.